What would it be like, waking up on what feels like a normal summer morning, only to hear something strange outside your window? Not singing, not music, just the frantic, uneven rhythm of dozens of feet slamming against the cobblestones. Feet moving without pause. Feet moving too fast. You step outside expecting a festival, but instead you find people drenched in sweat, eyes glazed, bodies jerking in unnatural rhythm, dancing as if something deep inside them had snapped loose. And the most terrifying part? None of them can stop. This is the story of the dancing plague of 1518, one of the most mysterious and unsettling events in European history. A time when scores of people in Strasbourg, then part of the Holy Roman Empire, appeared trapped inside their own bodies, forced into a dance that seemed to come from nowhere. A dance that, according to some accounts, may have even cost lives. Imagine, if your body suddenly began moving against your will. Would you resist? Or would fear take over, forcing your limbs into motion even faster? The people of Strasbourg didn't get to choose. It all began in July 1518. The sun blazed overhead, the marketplace thrummed with life, and merchants, bakers, and travelers went about their day. Life was hard. Famine, rising taxes, and religious tension weighed heavily on everyone, but the day itself felt ordinary. Then a woman stepped into the street. According to some chronicles, her name was Frau Troffea. She began to dance. Not a joyful dance, not a festival dance. Her movements were frantic, jerky, and unrestrained. Arms flailed, feet hammered the stone streets, and her gaze seemed distant, almost as if she were no longer fully present in her own body. Neighbors paused, confused. Perhaps she was mocking someone, perhaps an emotional outburst. But when the sun set and she kept moving, confusion turned to fear. Over the next days, Frau Troffea danced without stopping. She collapsed from exhaustion, slept briefly, then rose again, driven by something unseen. Within a week, dozens had joined her. By the end of the month, reports suggest that hundreds may have been dancing, although the exact numbers remain uncertain. Picture it. The heat rising from the stones, the smells of baking bread mixing with sweat and dust, the marketplace overflowing with people, all moving in a strange, unstoppable rhythm. Some cried, some screamed, others were silent, their faces blank as if controlled by invisible strings. Now, imagine living in 1518. What would you have believed? A sickness? A curse? Possession? Or would fear have made you dance too? Doctors at the time, following medieval medical theory, arrived at a surprising conclusion. They believed the dancers suffered from hot blood, an imbalance of bodily humors causing uncontrollable movement. Their recommended cure? Let them dance it out. The city even built wooden stages, hired musicians, and encouraged the dancers to continue, thinking that the body needed to exhaust itself to purge the illness. But instead of helping, the music fueled the frenzy. More joined in, more collapsed. Some reports claim people danced until their feet bled through their shoes. Others may have collapsed from exhaustion, and some chronicles even suggest deaths occurred, though modern historians caution that the exact toll is uncertain. So, why did it happen? What could push an entire city to move uncontrollably towards exhaustion and possible death? Modern scholars offer three main theories. The first is mass psychogenic illness, or what we might today call mass hysteria. Strasbourg at the time faced famine, disease, heavy taxes, and overwhelming religious fear. When stress reaches a critical point, one person's breakdown can ripple through a community. If one person believes their body is out of control, others may follow. The second theory points to ergot poisoning, a toxic fungus that grows on rye, which can cause hallucinations, convulsions, and spasms. Some argue contaminated bread could have triggered the mania. Yet, ergot usually incapacitates rather than energizes. It weakens limbs instead of producing days of relentless dancing. The third theory is rooted in religion and belief. Many in Strasbourg feared Saint Vitus, a saint thought to punish sinners through uncontrollable dance. In a society steeped in faith and superstition, fear alone may have triggered physical symptoms. If you believe a curse will force you to move, your body might respond exactly as expected. What is striking is how these theories are not mutually exclusive. Stress, superstition, and perhaps physiological triggers could all have combined to create the perfect storm. Eventually, city officials realized that encouraging the dancers only worsened the problem. They transported the afflicted to a shrine dedicated to St. Vitus in nearby mountains, where priests performed rituals meant to break the curse. Red shoes were handed out, blessings pronounced, and dancers were isolated from the crowds. And then, slowly, almost miraculously, the dancing began to fade. People stopped collapsing in the streets. Life returned to an uneasy normal. But the mystery never fully disappeared. The 1518 outbreak was not unique. Similar dancing manias occurred across medieval Europe, in Germany, Switzerland, and the Low Countries, sometimes affecting dozens, sometimes hundreds, occasionally thousands. Each episode shared the same baffling mixture of fear, movement, and mass participation. And each time, historians remain uncertain about the real causes. So, what really happened in Strasbourg? A psychological chain reaction? Poisoned bread? Religious panic? Or something deeper? Something still beyond full explanation? If you woke up one morning and hundreds around you suddenly began moving, shouting, collapsing into a strange, uncontrollable rhythm, what would you think? Would you see a medical emergency? Or would part of you wonder if something older, something unexplainable had been awakened? 5 centuries later, we may never know for sure. All we know is that, for one terrifying summer, an entire city seemed to lose control of its own body, caught in a rhythm that no one could escape. And perhaps that is the enduring fascination of the dancing plague of 1518, a reminder of the fragility of the human mind, the power of fear, and the strange, sometimes terrifying ways our bodies can respond to the world around us. If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of history's strangest mysteries, let me know, and tell me, which other bizarre events from the past should we explore next?